Peace to everyone. This is a breaking news. This is Diahann Carroll, TV Trailblazer and Oscar nominee, dies at 84. And as you can see here in the picture is Diahann Carroll herself, who had passed away at the age of 84. Legendary and award-winning actress Diahann Carroll, widely known for her trailblazing TV show Julia, as well as her roles on Dynasty and Grey's Anatomy, died of cancer Friday in Los Angeles. Her daughter Suzanne Kay confirms to People she was 84. So Diahann Carroll passed away today, as she had cancer. Of course, she was widely known for her trailblazing TV show Julia, as well as her roles on Dynasty and Grey's Anatomy. Her daughter had confirmed that this has confirmed her passing today. Born Carroll Diahann Johnson to Subway motorman John and nurse Mabel Johnson in the Bronx, New York, Carroll grew up in Harlem, where her family moved when she was an infant. Carroll started her career at 15, modeling for Essence magazine, but her heart was in performing. I always knew I had to do something that was in front of an audience, Carroll told People in 2008. So Diahann Carroll, she was born Carroll Diahann Johnson to Subway motorman John and nurse Mabel Johnson in the Bronx, New York. Of course, she grew up in Harlem, where her family moved when she was an infant. So while Diahann Carroll was an infant, her and her family had moved to Harlem when she was a baby. Carroll started her career at 15, of course, modeling for Essence magazine, but her heart was in performing. She also said that she had to do something that was in front of an audience, Carroll told People in 2008. After graduating from New York's High School of Music and Art, she briefly attended New York University to study child psychology. Those plans changed in 1954 when she won $3,000 on a TV talent show called Chance of a Lifetime. Singing engagements at prominent New York nightclubs soon followed, along with her Broadway and film debuts. That same year, Carroll starred in the musical House of Flowers and had a supporting role opposite Dorothy Dandridge in the film Carmen Jones. Diahann Carroll has graduated from New York's High School of Music and Arts. She briefly attended New York University to study child psychology, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So the plans were changed in 1954 when she won $3,000 on a TV talent show called Chance of a Lifetime. She also started in the musical House of Flowers and had a supporting role opposite Dorothy Dandridge in the film Carmen Jones. Carroll's other prominent film roles during that time period included Clara in 1959's Porgy and Bess, starring Sidney Poitier, Dandridge and Sammy Davis Jr. and Connie Lamson in 1961's Paris Blues. Opposite Poitier, Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. Also during that time, Carroll and Poitier began a 9-year love affair, though both were married when they met. Carroll to her first husband, record producer Monty Kay, and Poitier to his first wife, model Juanita Hardy. So both of them were married when Sidney Poitier and Diahann Carroll had a love affair. And Diahann Carroll has starred in other roles too, as well as included Cara in 1959's Porgy and Bess, starring Sidney Poitier, Dan Ridge, and Sammy Davis Jr. as well, and Connie Lamson. In 1961's Paris Blues, and of course it was opposite of Poitier. Carroll's professional career continued to flourish in groundbreaking fashion. In 1962, she won the Best Actress Tony Award for her performance in the Broadway musical No Strings, a first for a black woman. Her trailblazing continued in 1968 when she became the first black star to play a role other than that of a domestic worker on her own TV series Julia. The role earned her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Television Series in 1968 and an Emmy nomination for Best Actress in a Comedy in 1969. She was the first black woman to receive the honor. She has since been followed by Nell Carter, Isabel Sanford, Felicia Rashad, and Tracy Ellis Ross. In 1974, Carroll was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress for her turn in Claudine. So, Diahann Carroll has become one of the most flourishing women ever. She's in groundbreaking. Of course, she did this through fashion. In 1962, she won the Best Actress Tony Award for her performance in the Broadway musical No Strings. And of course, it's a first for a black woman. Her trailblazing continued in 1968 when she became the first black star to play a role other than that of a domestic worker on her own TV series Julia. Now, I thought I have seen that, but I haven't, so I don't know why I never saw it. The role did earn her a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Television Series in 1968 and an Emmy nomination for Best Actress in a Comedy in 1969. She had since been followed by Nell Carter, Isabel Sanford, Felicia Rashad, and Tracy Ellis Ross. So that's who she was followed by. In 1974, Carroll was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress for her turn in Claudine. So she got her turn for the Best Actress in Claudine. In 1983, she was the first black actress to replace a white actress in a dramatic role on Broadway in Agnes of God. And when she joined Dynasty in March of 1984 as the glamorous, jet-setting Dominique Devereaux, half-sister to Blake Carrington, Carroll became the first black person to star in a primetime soap. In 1986, she wrote an autobiography, Diahann, with Ross Firestone. So in 1983, she was the first black actress to replace a white actress, and trust me, this is not about race, but this is what happened in 1983. She had a dramatic role on Broadway in Agnes of God. She also played the glamorous, jet-setting Dominique Devereaux, half-sister to Blake Carrington. And I loved Dynasty so much during that time. She also became the first black person to star in a primetime soap. And in 1986, she did write an autobiography, Diahann, with Ross Firestone. Carroll told People she found the Pioneer label to be a complicated but tremendous blessing, particularly with regard to Julia. The attention and responsibility was so stressful. The actress said in 2008, "But I'm enormously proud of that show." And yes, she was proud of her show. She found the Pioneer label to be complicated, and I don't blame her for it really, but tremendous blessings on top of it, so that's a good thing, particularly with regard to Julia. So, and she said, but I'm enormously proud of that show. So she is proud of what she has done. Other more recent memorial roles include Norma Desmond in Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Sunset Boulevard, Dr. Preston Burke's demanding mother Jane Burke on Grey's Anatomy, and Savvy Widow slash Landlord June on USA's White Collar. In 2008, she wrote a memoir, The Legs Are the Last to Go. So that part was kind of funny. But yeah, she was also in other roles in Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Sunset Boulevard, Dr. Preston Burke's demanding mother Jane Burke on Grey's Anatomy, which I never watched Grey's Anatomy, and of course Savory Widow slash Landlord June on USA's White Collar, which I have never watched that either. Carroll was married 4 times. First to Kay from 1956 to 62, during which they had a daughter, Suzanne, a journalist and screenwriter. After a failed engagement to TV presenter David Frost, she married Las Vegas boutique owner Freddie Glusman in 1971, but filed for divorce several weeks later. In 1975, she married Jet magazine editor Robert D. Leon. He died in a car accident in March 1977. 10 years later, Carroll married singer Vic Damone. They divorced in 1996. So Diahann Carroll was married 4 times. So she was married to Kay from 1956 to 1962, which is her first husband. They had a daughter named Suzanne, and of course, she's a journalist and songwriter or screenwriter. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, after a failed engagement to TV presenter David Frost, she married Las Vegas boutique owner Freddie Glusman in 1975, but they divorced several weeks later. Her third husband, she was editor for Jet magazine, Robert De Leon, and the tragic thing happened. He died in a car accident in 1977. So she found a 4th husband. His name is Vic Damone. They divorced in 1996, unfortunately. After decades in the spotlight, Carroll will long be remembered for her tremendous and trailblazing talent. So yeah, she will be remembered for her tremendous and trailblazing talent, because she is a wonderful woman. She been married 4 times, but unfortunately they all didn't work out, and it's just sad that it didn't work out with the marriages at all. But my condolences do go to her family and friends who have loved her so much. And it's just sad that Diahann Carroll had passed away today at the age of 84. Leave your comments below. I am out.